Hashtag Trending would like to thank Meter for their support in bringing you this podcast. Meter delivers a complete networking stack, wired, wireless, and cellular in one integrated solution that's built for performance and scale. You can find them at meter.com/HTT. Is Tesla faking the Optimus robot demos? Microsoft Copilot suffers a major outage. Starlink puts satellite internet in a vending machine. And Google says the way to keep us safe with AI is more AI. Welcome to Hashtag Trending. I'm your host, Jim Love. Let's get into it. Tesla's Optimus robot is back in the spotlight after a strange moment during a live demo in Miami. At the Autonomy Visualized event, Optimus was handing out bottled water when it dropped several of them. Moments later, its movements became unstable and the robot fell backward onto the floor. But what caught people's attention wasn't the fall, but the gesture just before it. As Interesting Engineering reported, the robot lifted its hands towards its head in a motion that closely resembled somebody removing a VR headset, even though Optimus wasn't wearing anything on its head. That human-like movement has led many viewers to wonder whether the robot was responding autonomously or whether someone was remotely controlling it. This comes after earlier appearances where Optimus didn't match the fluid, polished movements that Tesla shows in its high-production videos. In less curated settings, including office-style demos posted online, observers have noted clunky, hesitant motions that look far from the seamless performance the company promotes. To be fair, managing demos is part of the tech industry's history. Even Steve Jobs relied on a tightly scripted golden path during the first iPhone reveal, shortening media clips, swapping between prototypes with just 128 megabytes of memory. Remember that? Forcing full signal bars on the display, and using a private AT&T cell tower under the seats to keep everything stable. But in that case, the product shipped with the promised features working. So, was this Optimus moment just another fragile demo? Or does the careful choreography hide a more uncomfortable question? Whether we're watching genuine robotics progress or a modern Wizard of Oz act, where the illusion only holds if you don't see who might be behind the curtain. Microsoft Copilot went down for users across Europe yesterday, adding a new and very visible problem to the questions already being raised about its reliability. The outage left Windows and web users unable to launch Copilot, with some seeing messages saying the service wasn't available in their region, even though it normally is. Microsoft acknowledged the problem on its service health dashboard and said engineers were reviewing logs to isolate the cause. But based on reporting collected by Bleeping Computer and data from Down Detector, this wasn't a minor blip. Outage reports climbed sharply and stayed elevated for hours, covering a large portion of the European business day before gradually dropping back to normal levels. And the timing of this matters, because Copilot is increasingly being positioned as the core feature of Windows and Microsoft 365, and earlier this week we covered concerns about the quality of its responses, uneven performance, accuracy issues, and frustration that the AI doesn't yet deliver the productivity gains that Microsoft promises. But when a tool already facing some credibility concerns suddenly becomes unavailable or unreliable, that raises a more basic question. Can people depend on it? As Microsoft pushes Copilot deeper into its product line, reliability becomes part of the value proposition. And outages like this risk changing the conversation from whether Copilot is useful to whether it can be trusted to show up when it's needed. SpaceX has taken an unusual step to get Starlink hardware into customers' hands. The company quietly installed a Starlink-branded vending machine in a mall in West Des Moines, Iowa. No announcements, no fanfare, just a walk-up box selling satellite internet kits. The machine was discovered by Dishy Tech founder Colby Baber, who said, "I actually found this by accident. I was typing Starlink into Google Maps just to see what other kinds of stores there were, and things popped up." Inside, he found something more surprising than the hardware itself. The machine is offering Starlink's standard dish for only $89, far below the usual $349 price. And SpaceX is throwing in a $100 service credit if you activate within 7 days. What the vending machine doesn't have is the newer Starlink Mini, SpaceX's smaller portable dish. But it's an unexpected move. And the timing is interesting. Amazon, now rebranding its Kuiper project as Amazon Leo, is preparing to launch its own satellite internet service, and its real advantage won't just be the technology, it'll be the logistics. Leo hardware will likely appear online with prime shipping, rapid delivery, and placement in major retail channels. A vending machine that puts Starlink hardware directly in front of shoppers and at a dramatic discount may be SpaceX's way of chipping away at that advantage. For buyers, it means satellite internet is suddenly a lot more accessible. And for SpaceX, it might be the first sign that the next phase of the satellite broadband race won't be fought in orbit, but anywhere a customer can swipe a card and walk away with the hardware. Google has released its blueprint for securing agentic browsing in Chrome, outlining how it plans to manage the risks that come with letting AI take actions on a user's behalf. Billions of people already rely on Chrome for basic protection online, and with agents now entering the browser, Google's position is the stakes have changed. In a detailed post published on December the 8th, Google laid out a new layered defense architecture built around a two-model system. There's a separate user alignment critic. It evaluates an agent's actions before they happen. In Google's words, the agent's actions are vetted by a separate model that is isolated from untrusted content. Chrome will also expand origin isolation so that agents can only interact with the sites relevant to their task. Together, these guardrails are meant to catch model mistakes and adversarial prompts before they cause harm. The biggest threat Google calls out is indirect prompt injection. That's the malicious instructions that could be hidden in a web page, an iframe, or in user-generated content that could trick an agent into taking unintended actions. To limit that risk, Chrome will require explicit user confirmation before visiting sensitive sites like banks or health portals, before using Google Password Manager, and before completing anything with financial or personal consequences. As Google puts it, the agent will pause and either get permission from the user before proceeding, or ask the user to complete the next step. There's also a new real-time detection system that scans every page an agent sees for hidden prompt injections, along with continuous automated red teaming to stress test the defenses. And Google is putting up to $20,000 on the table for researchers who find serious vulnerabilities in the new security boundaries. These protections are intended to form the foundation for Gemini-powered agents in Chrome. Now, Google is clear. This is a work in progress. They haven't committed to a release date. And you could argue that this framework should have been shipped with the agents rather than afterward, but Google is the one leading the public conversation on agent safety right now. OpenAI and Anthropic are working on the same challenges, but Google is once again setting the tone and perhaps shaping the expectations. Because the real issue may not be understanding why an AI does something. It's knowing whatever it does, it'll do it safely. And that's our show. Once again, we'd like to thank Meter for their support in bringing you this podcast. Meter delivers full-stack networking infrastructure, wired, wireless, and cellular, to leading enterprises. And working with their partners, Meter designs, deploys, and manages everything required to get performant, reliable, and secure connectivity in a space. They design the hardware, the firmware, build the software, manage deployments, and even run support. It's a single integrated solution that scales from branch offices to warehouses to large campuses and even to data centers. Book a demo at meter.com/HTT. That's meter.com/HTT. And a final note, a weird thing happened this week. I was looking at my Audible version of my book, Alyssa, and I saw two words I wasn't sure I'd see beside my name: bestseller. One of the reasons for that is a lot of our listeners have been going to Audible and getting the book. So thank you very much for making me a bestseller. And if you haven't heard it already, I narrate it personally. Love to hear what you think. And if you've gotten it, listen to it and love it, could you go back and put a review in? The sales matter, but reviews are gold. I'm your host, Jim Love. Have a wonderful Wednesday.